Dan Campbell is on this list, 14-1 odds to get fired. Sheila Ford-Hamp knew exactly what she was signing up for.
It's not going to happen. I'm not on board with it. There is no way Dan Campbell does not see the field next year.
Right.
Unless he goes 3-14 this year. And even then, I would still put the odds on him being the coach next year because I don't think they fire him.
They don't have these expectations yet, so why is Dan on this list? I have no idea.
Talk to me about this list. Explain to me what I'm missing.
So, and for context for people, betonline.ag came out with their odds for which coach will be fired first. Obviously, first on that list at plus 350 is Mike McCarthy, which is no surprise. Second, Matt Rule at plus 375. Third is Cliff Kingsbury at plus 500. Then you have Frank Reich at plus 900. Mike Vrabel is on this list, which I was actually kind of surprised about, to be honest with you. He's plus 900. But coming in behind Robert Saleh and Arthur Smith, Dan Campbell is on this list, 14-1 odds to get fired as the first coach to be fired. And then behind him, you had Rod Rivera, Pete Carroll, Kevin Stefanski, which Kevin Stefanski's on this list.
What's the site again?
Betonline.ag. And I do want to say right now, do I agree with Dan being on this list? No, because the reality is he got a 6-year deal. 6-year contract, and you're not going to fire him in a second year. Sheila Ford-Hamp knew exactly what she was signing up for. This isn't a 2-year turnaround. Like, to have expectations, that's why I always get frustrated when Lions fans bring up the fact that this is a must-win because you want to make the playoffs. Teams that were 0-2, no team made the playoffs last year. It has nothing to do with the playoffs. This season is determined by player progression and context of a lot of these games. It's depending on how you lose. If Dan's the reason,
where is he?
He would be he is the 8th or 9th coach.
The 9th most likely coach to be fired this year.
Right in front of Ron Rivera, right behind Arthur Smith.
Behind Arthur Smith?
Which Arthur Smith, why would he be fired this year?
I think him and Arthur Smith are in the same boat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have Dan Campbell that high. 4 weeks, 5 weeks from now, if they haven't won a game or they're only one game, they're 1-5, 1-6. Now we're having that conversation.
Do you agree with him being in front of Pete Carroll by 2 coaches? He has slightly better odds than Pete Carroll.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree with that because Pete Carroll, for all I don't like about him, you saw what happened Monday night. And that's the updated odds as of Monday too.
Right. So they're 1-0. Yeah.
So they're 1-0. Not only that, for the Seattle Seahawks to choose, given their ownership issues right now, Pete Carroll over Russell Wilson, I think, says everything about the situation. So, no, I'm not mad about it. I told you before the season, 3 coaches had my eye focused, dialed in, hell, even more, but we'll just go with these 3. Matt Rule, my eyes are on him. He's going to get fired if he doesn't get his shit together. Mm-hmm. Mike McCarthy, even before the Dak Prescott, we talked about this going into the year. I think he was going to get fired 100%. They'll probably go after Sean Payton at the end of the year. And then the third coach I told you would be a surprise would be Bill Belichick, because I do think they're probably a 5-12 team this year, 6-11 at best. That's what I think of New England. And it could be worse if the offense stays like that the rest of the year.
But what is the difference between those teams and the Lions with Dan Campbell?
Dan Campbell has a 6-year contract and is in his 2nd year.
And those teams besides the Patriots.
And the Lions are in a clear rebuild.
There you go.
Patriots are coming off a playoff season. Mike Vrabel's on there because they lost their first game of the year, obviously. They lost to the Giants, not ideal.
Right.
And if he starts the year 2-6, 2-7, 2-8, I think the Titans should show complete patience. I would never fire Mike Vrabel just for one bad season.
Especially last year.
The highest seeded team in the AFC.
With
best record in the AFC with no Derrick Henry for most of the season. So,
yeah.
Look, if Campbell's on the list, it is what it is. I think he's untouchable right now.
Do you think it's about the franchise more so than Dan? Like the Lions,
it's both.
Whoever's the head coach of the Lions in your own...
No, I don't think it's that. I think they have their plan in place. It is Dan Campbell. There is no way Dan Campbell does not see the field next year.
Right.
Unless he goes 3-14 this year. If he goes 3-14 this season, wow. And even then, I would still put the odds on him being the coach next year because I don't think they fire him.
No.
But I would be calling for his head if they were a 3-win team again this year.
Right. Context. We always talk about that.
But kind of where I'm getting at is I don't think he should be on the list. But he's going to be there for betting purposes. But guys in the 2nd year of a 6-year contract, I don't see them even considering firing him, let alone this early in the season. It's not going to happen. I'm not on board with it. Who's the most favorite coach to get fired?
Oh, your favorite, Mike McCarthy.
And who's number 2?
Deservedly so. Matt Rule.
I'm nailing these.
Cliff
Before
Kingsbury.
the season started, I told you
Cliff
this too.
Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury, that was another one I told
And
you.
then Frank Reich is actually fourth.
I think he should be there.
Yeah,
and I
fourth.
told you that the Jags would win the division. Colts tied the first game of the year. I'm feeling good about the Jags. I know they lost to Washington. Their defense, bad penalties. They blew it late. I'm loving what I saw out of Trevor Lawrence. I like James Robinson, Travis Etienne. I think that'll be a good combination. I'm still very high on the Jags winning that division. And I think 10 wins at most wins you that division this year.
I agree with
I
you.
think you're going to see a significant drop-off from Tennessee and from Indianapolis. Frank Wright, also a coach that'll get fired this year.
And then after that following, this is the kind of issue I had too, is Mike Vrabel's higher than Robert Saleh. In terms of first to get fired, but they're both 0-1.
Yeah, but Robert Saleh had a bad year. Again, he's a second-year coach.
And I don't think Robert would get fired. Similar to what I think about Dan Campbell. I think
Robert,
that's still a rebuild.
Coaching in New York, he should be higher on the odds. There's so much pressure
Right.
there. There's no Zach Wilson right now. They got Joe Flacco at starting quarterback. That's not ideal. So they have a quarterback problem in New York. And if Zach Wilson can't get healthy, Robert Saleh and the New York Jets need to make a decision, because he can't go out and win 2-3 games again.
No.
Because he's going to get fired. Welcome to the NFL, man. I don't care what obstacles you face. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. People want to win. Owners want to win. GMs want to win. Teams want to win. Coaches want to win.
And I think the difference, too, is we look at all these coaches on this list. Dan Campbell, wherever he is, 9th or 10th best odds. If the Lions win 6 games, he's not getting fired. It's just not happening. And if Matt Rule or Cliff Kingsbury, Frank Reich, Mike Vrabel, I don't think Mike Vrabel would get fired, but if these guys win 6 games, there's a problem. That's the difference. The Lions they don't have these expectations yet. So why is Dan on this list? I have no idea. But we're going to need more of a sample size than just the first game of the season to put him on this list. That's how I feel about it.